Hello BookTube, we're still in July and it's still Jane Austen July, and I thought I would rank all six of her novels for you today. I've read Austen as a teen, I love it, I still read it all the time pretty much. And yeah, I thought I would rank them from my least favorite to favorite, and there are some controversial opinions in here to make it more interesting or whatever. But anyway, I love Austen, lover, so let's get started. So, dead last, my least favorite Austen is Sense and Sensibility. I think people would like this one. I think this is a bit controversial, but for me, it's not bad at all. I think it's kind of deaf by comparison. It's always been my least favorite, if I'm being honest. I've got my notes on the side, so I'll be reading off that. But I do enjoy the plot of Sense and Sensibility outside of the romance too. I just think the characters in here are just not memorable at all. I feel like compared to the other novels we're going to be talking about today, I literally can't remember half of them, if I'm being honest. I do like that there's two couples in here. I think that's really interesting dynamics there. Um, again, the characters are charming, but just real forgettable for me. And one thing I do really like about Sensibility is that when I've read it, because I've read it like twice by now, and I love it because I never know when I first read it who was getting up with who. Like I couldn't really connect the dots yet, and I think Austen really keeps it up in the air because it's one of those things where anyone could really end up with anyone, and I would be kind of happy with that. But this is for me last because it's death by comparison, and yeah, and it's interesting to think that this was Austen's debut novel too. But for me, it's dead last. Next, this is probably my most controversial pick here, and it's Pride and Prejudice. Now, I get Pride and Prejudice. I was a Pride and Prejudice girly at one point, and for me, it's just fallen off over the years. I get its impact. I get its influence. I've read the sacred text. I get it, but it's just I don't know. I love a retelling. I love a parody of Pride and Prejudice, but I just think compared to her other books, it's not as strong for me. Or at least it's not much of a personal favorite. I don't really like Mr. Darcy. The more I've reflected since I've done my ranking Austen's men, Darcy is just plummeted down the list. I would fight him if I saw him in person. Him and Odysseus, oh, we'd be throwing hands. But yeah, I love Pride and Prejudice, don't get me wrong. It's so iconic, like it's easily Jane Austen's most famous work, but for me it just doesn't grip me in the same way these other novels do. But I love Pride and Prejudice, but it's not my favorite by any means. And now this is what we're moving on. My next favorite Austen book. So the next four are pretty much perfect books for me. I love these to death. And the next one, controversial, Northanger Abbey here. This is Austen's satire of the Gothic genre at the time. She's poking fun at Frances Burney and Anne Radcliffe too, and it's just so fun. This is Austen's funniest book for me. I'm trying to look at my notes, sorry. The main heroine, Kathleen Morland, standout character. I love her so much. Northanger Abbey, yeah, it's her funniest, and it's her most plot heavy book. This isn't much more of a romance compared to her other books. I can see how people don't like Northanger Abbey because it isn't a straightforward romance. It's pretty much a minor part, but again, Northanger Abbey for me is so funny, but I can see how it isn't because if you don't know what Austen's satirizing, it can be a bit outdated and the jokes won't land. But for me, it's just fun. It's short too, and it's an early work of Austen's, and I think you can see that. But Kathleen is just so iconic, and I love her so much. And for that alone, this is better than Pride and Prejudice. But we'll keep moving on to an even more controversial pick here. And what's better than Pride and Prejudice here? Mansfield Park. I am a defender of Mansfield Park. This literally could have been number one at one point in my life. I know this is so controversial because people normally put this dead last. It really like splits people, and I get it. Pretty much because the plot builds up to an event that literally never happens, which is a bit weird for Austen. And the heroine Fanny Price, people hate her, and she's one of my favorite Jane Austen characters ever. She doesn't necessarily do much action, but her moral values are so strong. She won't, follow anyone's directions unless she wants to do it. And she also, she's just so dynamic, and she just stands up for what she wants. And I really appreciate that compared to some of Austen's other heroines. Um, and I get why people don't like Mansfield Park, but for me, this is easily Austen's most underrated novel. I love it so much. But yeah, I can see why people don't like it. Especially, it's kind of like Northanger Abbey in that the romance really gets pushed back, and there's a lot more action going on here. But also, the main heroine is barely in it. Like, she's literally just sitting back and watching everything happen. And I know that maybe it's controversial, but again, I love Mansfield Park. It's so iconic, and for me, better than Pride and Prejudice. So, what's better than Pride and Prejudice again? It's Emma. Emma, I don't even know what to say about Emma. Um, Emma is so great in just, oh my god, I can't even begin. I've mentioned before Jane Austen. There's normally a couple standout Jane Austen characters in her novels, but my god, every character in Emma is so perfect. They are so funny and so dynamic. I can't even begin. From Literally, you could go from Emma to Knightley, of course, to Harriet to Miss Bates, and everyone is so memorable. They are just so deeply amazing. Um, I've always liked Emma as a main character. I know people hate her because she's snarky and mean and like just a bitter person, but I love that. I relate to it, to be honest. But she's also so funny and self-aware at the same time in a way that, again, other Austen heroines aren't. And she's just more memorable. I also love in Emma the friendship dynamics too, especially between Emma and Harriet, as well as Emma with Jane Fairfax and Miss Bates too. Like, those female friendships and the way Emma treats them too throughout the novels is very interesting. And again, I love that Emma isn't looking for the approval of a man. She is just going down her own path, and she may stuff it up along the way and have regrets and embarrassments, but it's still her choice at the end of the day. And I really respect and Austen for doing that, because when you look at the other major romance novels of that time, or just women in fiction at that time, Emma is very different and stands out a lot. What else do I like about Emma? And I also like, in terms of relationship between Emma and Mr. Knightley, is that they're very equal in terms of like power in the couple, because they started off as friends, and I think that's really important. And I just feel like it's just perfect. It's a perfect romance book for me. I love it so much more than Pride and Prejudice. And I know, again, people are torn on Emma, and I will defend this book, just like Mansfield Park, as being truly some of Austen's best work. And next, number one. This has always been my favorite Austen novel. Ever since I read it, I was like, she's different from the rest. And that for me is Persuasion. Persuasion's number one. Literally, Persuasion for me is Austen's best written novel. If you just want her best prose, go to this one. And the quotes are lovely from it too. I find Persuasion to be her most romantic novel in terms of romance. And again, every character is so deeply iconic. I read this like last week, and it was so lovely. Even the minor characters are great. I also love the way Austen talks about class and greed too. I think those dynamics really blend well into the novel and don't and aren't preachy too. And I feel like Austen's wit really sticks out in the last three novels I've mentioned. And also, let's be honest, one of the greatest Austen scenes ever is the scene where oh my god, I forgot her lead. I literally just forgot her name. The leading heroine reads Captain Wentworth's letter, and she finds out it's addressed to her. And that letter is probably the most stunning thing Austen's ever written. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I literally read that last week and cried. I wept because I was so swooped away by it. I can't believe I literally forgot the heroine's name. But anyway, we'll just keep on going. But yeah, number one is Persuasion. And could it change over time? Could another Austen novel take down Persuasion as my favorite? I do need to reread Emma, and I'm due for a reread of Mansfield Park, just because I haven't read them in a couple of years. But right now, Persuasion's number one. But when I was originally creating this list, not gonna lie, Mansfield Park was at number one, and Emma was at still at number two. Then, but I had a big think about it today, and I was like, nah, this is my list. So that's me ranking all six of Jane Austen's novels. Let me know what you thought of my ranking below in the comments, and how would you rank Jane Austen's novels? And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I'll see you next time.